Hi, welcome to Nona's Here. That lady in the picture, that's me. I'm Nona. Now I know I've been missing in action for the last couple weeks, but I have a really good excuse. Almost 3 weeks ago, I had my Inspire implanted for my sleep apnea. Now I thought I was going to recuperate in 3 or 4 days, but that just didn't happen. However, before my surgery, Grumpy Grandpa took me around to the crafting stores so I could get a lot of Christmas crafting supplies for after my surgery. But I just haven't felt well enough to get back to crafting, but I'm going to do so starting tomorrow. However, before my surgery, I did do a few crafting projects, and that's what I want to share with you today. I'm joining Tiffany from Broke Girl Aesthetics and her co-host, Little Rockies Rustics, and I'll tell you more about that later. Everything that I'm using in today's projects are from Dollar Tree and Michael's. Michael's had this terrific hot buy when I was there for scrapbook paper of notebooks, 24 designs, 2 pieces of each design, 48 pages per book, one book $19.99, buy one, get 2 free. I was overwhelmed, so I got 3 books of scrapbooking paper for $19.99, and I must say that was one of the most exciting crafting supply buys I've ever made. So I'll be using some of those crafting papers in the projects that I'm going to show you today. The ribbon is from Michael's, and everything else except the chalk paint, which I get at Walmart, is from Dollar Tree. Okay, let's get off and show you my first crafting project that I did before surgery. But stay tuned to Nona's Here because I will start doing more crafting starting tomorrow. All right, here is DIY number 1. DIY number 1. So I have this sign from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the hello. I'm going to use that scrapbooking paper and some red chalk paint, and I got that little craft kit. And those red beads are from Hobby Lobby. Last year I got them on sale after the season. I'm going to paint the outside of the sign, and I'm going to use that scrapbooking paper to put on the inside of the sign after I painted the outside red. I'm going to use my spray glue to put the scrapbooking paper down, and that's what I find is easier for me. Podge and I just don't play together nicely. So I'm going to put that down and get it into the corners nice and tightly. I like the spray glue because you can kind of lift it up and readjust it as you need to. And I get that all nice and down, nice and tightly. And I'm using some twine that I'm going to make a little banner across the top that I'm going to string those red beads on. And see, I'm stringing those red beads on the twine. Excuse me. And then that you see that little glitter green Christmas tree down there that I got at Dollar Tree in a, they come like 5 or 10 in a set. And now I'm reaching for some stuff. Oh, I'm putting more beads on the twine. And then you see those 2 little candy canes in the left-hand corner. Okay, those 3 Christmas trees came from the kit. And I painted those, and now I'm gonna glue them to the outside of the tray. Now I'm gluing those little sparkly Christmas trees to the twine because they didn't have holes on them, so I'm just gonna glue them to the twine. And the reason why the paper was under there is because I didn't want to glue them to the scrapbooking paper. I wanted them to hang. Then I got this red mesh tubing at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that to hang the sign. And yeah, mesh tubing. See, I got it red, green, and I think gold. And I couldn't find my masking tape, so I'm just using painter's tape to, after I hot glue the mesh tubing down, I'm going to use some painter's tape to make sure it stays. And it has. I hung it up and it's been up for a couple weeks and it stayed just fine. And I glued those little candy canes up at the corners of the banner so you didn't see the edges, and I did make some little twine finger bows to put with the candy canes. And now I'm just putting the masking tape on there, though the painter's tape, to hold those that tubing on. And there you go. Now I'll show you a picture of it when it's all. Oh, I found also this little Christmas letters, so I painted it red, and I'm going to hot glue it to the front of the sign because that looked a little empty. And so I painted it red, and I'm going to glue it in front of the Christmas trees. Hot glue it in front of the Christmas trees, just like that. And that's it. And there you go. Isn't that cute? I thought it was, I painted all 3 trees a little bit differently to add some dimension, and I thought it came out real cute. So that is project number 1. Okay, so as I told you, I'm joining Tiffany from Broke Girl Aesthetics and her co-host, Little Rockies Rustic, for Funtime Friday. And I will be sure and link their channels down below and the playlist for everyone that is joining in today. And I encourage you to watch the playlist of everyone who is creating projects for Funtime Friday. And also to watch Broke Girl Aesthetics and Little Rockies Rustic's channel too. And if you find a creator that tickles your fancy, be sure and subscribe to their channel. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, it would tickle my fancy if you would subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit that bell and the word all so you're notified every time I upload a video, which I will be doing again very shortly. Okay, so let's get on to my second craft project, and be sure and let me know in the comments down below which one of my 3 is your favorite. And if you like my videos, be sure and give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you're enjoying my content. That always makes me feel good, and I'm sure will help in my recuperation. So, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. All right, on to project number 2. DIY number 2. All right, I'm going to use this heart that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that red and white snowflake scrapbook paper you see in the background there. Going to cut off the twine, and I've taken off the sticker in the back, and I've scrubbed off the glue as much as I can. Now I'm going to use my stuff to fill in the holes, and I'm going to paint the back white with my acrylic paint, which really didn't cover very well. Actually, I'm going to paint that front with the white to cover it up. The acrylic paint just doesn't really cover as well as the chalk paint, but anyway, and then I'm going to trace around the scrapbook paper and with the heart, and use my glue stick to cover the heart. But I do want to cover the edges with the paint so that it's all finished on the edges. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know. I just don't find that acrylic paint covers as well as the chalk paint does. But I used it here. So that's what I'm doing there. And then, man, I'm taking a long time to do this. It'll hurry up in just a minute. That's the part that I'm going to cover up because I'm going to give this away. I probably need to go back and give it another cover with chalk paint because it just didn't cover very well. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. I love this scrapbook paper that I got at Michael's. I just can't believe how many sheets I got for $20. 3 full books. I got 2 Christmas books and 1 neutrals. Okay, so now I'm taking the ribbon. You can see the stacks that I got back there. I got 2 sets. And I just made little bows and stacked them on top of each other. And then in one of the stacks I got some gold like thread. And I used that to tie it all together and then to cover the knot in between. See how the acrylic paint just didn't cover it like I wanted it to? So there's one of the books that I got. So I'm gonna trace around it. Now, why did I trace on the pretty side? I don't know why. Don't trace on the pretty side. Flip it over and trace on the plain side. And then I cut it out and I used my glue stick to stick it on, and that worked pretty well. And I made sure all the edges were down real well. And then I had some snowflakes from Dollar Tree that I had gotten in a pack. I think there were like 6 in a pack. So I took some of those, and then I had a pack of the words, believe, peace. I don't remember what the third word was, but you know, they come in a pack of 3 for $1, and they're silver, and I just left it silver because I didn't want to paint it. So you can see when I used my glue stick, I got on the edges real well so it would hold down on the edges. Man, I thought I put this on fast forward. Okay, so there we go. Everybody's using the glue stick lately. I usually use my spray glue, but this works okay. I was looking for the purple glue stick, but I couldn't find it, so I'm just using the regular school glue stick. I wanted to make sure I didn't have any lumps. Alright. Okay, now I finally put it on fast forward. Gonna smooth that all out real nice. You can, you know, readjust it. Put it on. Alright, there we go. Oh, I know. I was making the bow early because I was waiting for the acrylic paint to dry on the back. Okay, I'm making sure the edges are down. There we go. For heaven's sakes, Nona, they know how to do this. All right, put the glue stick away. Good. Now I am going to Mod Podge over it so that the edges do stay down. And I Mod Podge over the entire thing because if you don't Mod Podge over the entire thing, you get a different color wherever you do Mod Podge. So I'm going to Mod Podge over the entire thing. And then I'm going to let that dry before I decorate. Because sometimes I used to only Mod Podge like where I needed it, but then I found that where you Mod Podge, you get a different sheen. So now I Mod Podge over everything, really paying attention to the edges so they stay down. Okay, that's done. Good. Close up the Mod Podge, put it away. Make sure that's all nice. Okay, now I'm going back to the bow. That's the gold twine I was telling you about. I'm going to put that to hang it up. No, I'm going to put that on to attach it. And I'm also going to put it on to cover the knot in the middle where I attached all the bows together. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm a lousy bow maker, so I just make bows on top of bows and put them together and then attach them with twine. And then I'm going to use that gold like twine to put it to cover all the knots. That works really well if you're not good at making bows. My fingers don't work together like other people's fingers. They do those bows so quick and they work out so cute. Mine just don't work like that. See, you can see me struggling. I don't have arthritis in my fingers. They just don't work like other people's fingers do. All right. The bow comes out quite lovely though, I will say. All right. There we go. See, it came out to be nice. All right. Now I'm going to hot glue the bow to the top of the heart. Of course, I just got hot glue on my fingers, so that burns. Now I'm going to trim off the strings. See, I still burnt my finger. Now I'm going to trim the ribbons off so they look real pretty. Going to dovetail those. I always have to think which way to cut for the dovetail. Does anyone else have to do that? Sometimes I cut them the wrong way. I always have to think which way to cut to make them dovetail. Sometimes I cut them the wrong way. All right, trim off that, trim off that, trim off that. All right, okay, that's good. For heaven's sakes, all right. Fluff, 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 you gotta fluff. Most important part of bow making is fluffing. All right, there we go. See, it looks pretty good for someone who can't make bows. Okay, all right. Okay, I got the bow on, I got the peace word on, I've got the little snowflakes on. Oh no, I'm just setting it up to see how it looks. Okay, now when you put these silver words on, you cannot use hot glue. You got to use, E6000. I like this Fix-It-All adhesive that you get at Dollar Tree in the automotive section. I always have backup for that because I like that. It dries clear and it really holds on to it. I was just showing you the ribbon I got at Michael's in those stacks. So now I'm going to hot glue the ribbon on. I've got the little snowflakes that I will hot glue on. Got the word on. And I'm just finishing it up. I always lay things out on my project before I glue to make sure I'm going to like it the way it is. And I am going to finish it up. I think it came out real cute. I'll show you a picture of it in just a minute, all hanging up. Oh, I got to put the hanger on it, and I'm going to use that red tube, mesh tube again. I like it. I think it's kind of crazy. So I'm going to hot glue that on, and then I think I found my masking. Oh yeah, I found my masking tape, duct tape. I found my duct tape. So I just started the roll, so it's kind of thick. I didn't get it down to a single tape, but that's okay. So I put that on, and there it is, and it's all hanging up, and isn't that lovely? I really like it. Okay, so that's it. So now we are on to DIY number 3. And so I start off with this big Christmas tree that I got at Dollar Tree. And I saw something like this on Etsy. I don't know. I kind of made it up as I went along. And I had a lot of individual trees. So I took my spackling, you know, the stuff to fill in the holes. So I filled in the hole. And then I took my chalk paint in white and I painted the tree. And I had all these different kinds of little trees. And those green trees that you see in the background, they came in a pack of like 10. And they're real thin. They're kind of like felt, but they're paper thin. So that's what I was going to put on first after I painted my tree. Of course, I had to let my tree paint. I spent half my life waiting for paint to dry. So I took 3 of those real thin, green, flat Christmas trees, and I put those on the tree first as my base. And then I took all the different Christmas trees that I had collected. One was a thick white ceramic tree that I had gotten, and I think I got that one at Michael's. Okay, and one of those was, I think I got this one at Michael's too. It was a 3-dimensional like laser cut tree. See, a very Merry Christmas, and I painted it red. I'm pretty sure I got that at Michael's. And I just painted it red and put it aside. And then I had this white ceramic that I got in a 2-pack. And I think I got that at Michael's too. And I didn't do anything to it. I just left it alone. And then I had another craft kit of those 3 Christmas trees that I used in project number 1. And I painted them different shades of green with different, you know, dry brushing to give them dimension. And I used those. So I had several different kinds of Christmas trees. And then I used some tumbling blocks and some of those little square blocks that you can get at Dollar Tree. And on some of the Christmas trees, I painted the stars at the top with gold. Okay, there's my Waverly fern. And I'm taking those Christmas trees from that kit. I had cut them apart. In the first project, I left them together and glued them together on that frame, but this one I cut them apart. Okay, there's the 3 flat, like paper, yeah, they were paper trees, and I just laid them out as a base. And up at the top, you can see those 3 wooden, real thin trees that I took apart, and then I had a 3rd tree that I got in a pack, and I just painted it a green too. All the trees were painted different colors of green, different tones of green. Okay, so now I'm using my spray glue, and I'm putting those 3 paper green trees on the white big Christmas tree as a base. And then I'm going to take the Christmas trees that are all different, and I'm going to place them, I'm going to layer them on top of these Christmas trees and make like a collage. Okay, I got a little bit too much of spray glue on there. I don't want to put too much on because it makes the paper curl. Okay, so I'm laying those on, and then I'm going to lay out those other Christmas. See, you can see that white ceramic Christmas tree at the very top. It was pretty heavy, and I didn't do anything to it. I just put it on the bottom. All right, so now I've got my 3 paper Christmas trees on the big white tree.
I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Not our kids. They couldn't have done that.
And there we go.
We made a decision to go ahead and secure arrest warrants. What we try to do is we try to do it all simultaneous. Not allowing anyone the opportunity to get with another.
Now I'm ready to start placing the little Christmas trees all over. There, I've done it. Okay, so I'm taking that little block and I'm gonna hot glue it to the back of one of the Christmas trees because I want it to stand out so everything looks three-dimensional, okay? And you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, that one Christmas tree, I put a tumbling block underneath it to make it stand out because it's in the forefront. And the trees at the top are just laid down flat. So there you go. See, it's kind of three-dimensional. And then I made a bow, just like I made the other bow. You can see it there on the right-hand side. I just made bows on top of bows. I took jute cord, because this is kind of a heavy project, and I glued it on the back and used my duct tape to attach the jute cord. And then I made my bow for the top, and then I cut my ribbons, and I just did that bow just like I did the other bow, ribbon on top of ribbon on top of ribbon, and made my streamers and cut them off real pretty so that they would kind of stream down the Christmas tree. And that was it. And then I hung it up. And this is what it looks like. And I have to tell you, I was pretty darn pleased because I just kind of made this up out of my own head. And I liked it. Oh, and I put some bows at one of the top of the trees and colored the stars in. So tell me, which one of the three projects that I did today was your favorite? And thank you for watching. And I really appreciate Tiffany and Little Rockies Rustic for hosting today. And I hope to see you again at Nona's Here very soon. Thanks so much. Bye.